Hello. Testing audio. A little bit louder. Hey! What's up, everyone? Greetings, greetings. Let's put chat in the same window. There you go. Hey, hey. Hello. What's up, guys? Oh, there's a lot of you already. Hey, thanks for joining in. Just about ready. Let's get the model we're folding today. A very cool one. And then I think we just need to adjust our camera slightly so it's focused. Thought I did this already, but I guess it undid itself. Is that good? I think so. Like that. Cool, cool. Let's bring this out a little bit so we try not to run into. And then let's stop the auto white balance so it doesn't blind everyone. Is that okay? Is that too dark? It's pretty decent. What's up? Hello, hello. What's up, Simon? What's up, Vishwa? Thanks for joining in. Guys, if you don't know, the design we're folding today is the Assassin by Vishwa R. That's in the chat right now. So if you guys haven't seen the original, go check out the original because it is phenomenal. And we are going to be using it a lot as reference for shaping. So as you can see, the base is already folded. And I'm just going to post on my story to let people know we're streaming really quick. And then we'll get started. Cool, cool. Hey, what's up, Mark? Thank you for the good wishes. Hello, hello. All right. But yeah, this is a really cool model. And as you can tell already, there's a little bit of color change going on. So we have at least the arms, which will eventually turn downwards because this is the part of the shoulder armor or the arm clothing. We have a bunch of flaps in the back, but also for the hair. And so I think we can use the hair color change, or at least I want to try to use it to our advantage to kind of get something cool. Really like the detail here with that we're going to be using for the kind of the shirt or chest plate area, as well as some more flaps that we can use for shaping, and then for the legs as well. A cool part of this, let me pull up the completed model, is how the sword is done. So let's see if this will pop up. All right. So we're going to be using this as our reference. You can kind of see what's going on there, which is really cool because some of the back flaps here will become the sword, which looks like the long ones are going to be for that. Which in the crease pattern, there you go, there's the hinge. I was like, I remember folding this. It's the correct grid length. But it'll be around here in the back. Or maybe it's down a little bit. There you go. So it's by the hips. Right? So it'll kind of stick out like this. And let me actually turn the... This might be a little bit bright, so hopefully it's not too crazy. But I think that'll be a little bit better. Let's see. There you go. But yeah, let me get some stuff going on. We're gonna be gluing pretty quickly here. Just because that's how how we're going to shape this today. Where is my glue? And then we'll get started. There we go. I know I have another one around, but we'll be good. And if anyone's curious, what we're using is just plain old school glue. Nothing special here. Oh, you know what I can do with the brightness settings? Hold on. You can turn this down, I think. There you go. Now it's not super bright. I think that's balanced. Cool. Hopefully. All right, let's see. Did you make those color changes or they were always on the model? They're always on the model. And if you want to check out the crease pattern, go to Vishwa's Instagram, which is... Oh, now that's blown out. But Vishwa, if you want to drop the link to your Instagram in the chat, hopefully the bot that blocks links is disabled. But go ahead and do that, and people can check out the crease pattern. Because you kindly posted it alongside the finished model, which is really, really cool. For your school, you folded 1,000 cranes 7 times. Wow, that is a lot of cranes. If you had to estimate how many, that's a great question. You folded 1 million cranes in your lifetime. That is a lot. That's a lot, Robe. Sorry, robe. Thank you for the correction. My terminologies may be all over the place today. So I apologize. Well, what's up, guys? I've done a fair number of cranes myself as well. Alright, so let's kind of get everything ready and in place. And then we are going to see how to go about this. Now, I have a lot of ideas of things I want to do. And I'm not going to change the shaping too much from the original. But I do want to kind of do an interesting pose. That way I can like pose it next to potentially some other models and have it assassinating them, or like about to assassinate them, which would be pretty cool. And then another thing we need to grab. Most of your cranes are sticky notes. Sticky notes are a good way to go. We're going to be using some clips just to hold things in place so we can visualize what we are doing. So let's see. I don't think I need to clip that down. Maybe we'll do the arms for now, just to see what we want. Hello, hello. What's up, fish? How you doing, my dude? All right. For the legs, I'm actually going to do something that I do on my designs. And that is going to be spreading out these legs. And even though we have these flaps for the lower part of the robe, I'm still going to go ahead and spread squash these because I want to start with a wider base, and then it'll add just either a small bit of texture or it'll just add some more evenness in the flap distribution to kind of pose the legs a little bit. And this is also one of my favorite things to do, is just spread squashing. So let me make sure I'm in frame for you guys. Is that too dark? Maybe black color paper wasn't the best idea for this. All right. Hopefully we don't blow out the background for y'all. Let me know if that's too bright. Like if it's burning your eyes, let me know and we'll reduce it. But this way, I think we're seeing the paper well. Did this just reduce my FPS? Hold on. Huh? Oh. I think it fixed it, right? There you go. Okay. Looks fine. Thank you. It is fun to fold cranes. All right, so I don't think we need to go all the way up with these spread squashes, so we'll be kind of fast, and then that way we can start to doing some fun stuff with the shaping. But we're at least going to do one leg just to kind of get an idea of what we want to do, and then we'll... I think that's what, at least for now, what I'm going to think of doing is... We're going to start with one leg, and then we'll go to... this is a... Forgot, this part is a Pythagoras stretch, so I guess we can still technically spread squash this one. We might have to do it at the same time. We're doing some illegal moves here by mushing. Well, legal or illegal, depending on how you see it. But I don't think we're going to see this in the end. Satisfying. Yeah, spread squash or squashes, any kind of squash is very satisfying in general. All right, and then because we opened up that side, we're going to swivel just the leg slightly out like this. And that way we have some stuff to work with. And we don't want to get in the way of this sword. Okay, so now the sword is in the back. Now, at least from the original design, it was a... Was that a right hand draw? So I think we're going to stick with that, the right hand draw. So right here is going to be the moosh, yes, is going to be the hilt, and then this part is going to be the blade parts. Now one thing I did that I probably wasn't careful of is we don't want the color change on the sword actually. So because these layers are shown, we gotta be careful that when we fold it, we don't reveal those layers, so that it stays like that as we go. But let me refer to how the sword was done here. All right. So I like the hilt here. I'm gonna start from back here, and we're gonna kind of eyeball this. Maybe I should hold these flaps down a little bit. So one of these is also going to kind of be a kind of sash around the body, kind of like that, I believe. So we're gonna try not to accidentally get rid of these flaps either. But let's work on this part for now. So I think an ideal hilt length I guess right at the, do I want to do it right at the joint, or do I want to leave a little bit more space? I feel like I want it right here. We can do a small crimp fold. Or small pleats, I mean, not a crimp. It's like this, and then we can check it on this side. Then we can thin the handle here, and I'm not creasing too hard yet because in case I want to change anything, we don't want to leave super hard creases everywhere. So I'm going to gently swivel fold the hilt here to kind of thin it out. Hello, hello, welcome to the stream. Thanks for watching, guys. Swivels are one of my favorite folds. You can, at least for shaping, you can basically shape a lot of things by only swivel folding. Or a lot of times if you're like, how did that, like you have a crease pattern base and then you're like, how do I shape this? Good advice is swivel folds. Very, very useful. Very handy. You'll notice in a lot of my designs for shaping, there'll be a ton of swivel folds. A lot of times, technically, even for like dragon teeth, it's kind of a swivel fold. Right, so right now we have at least the spots where this will thin out. Later on, we're going to thin this even more, but I guess I can wait a little bit for the hand. We do have this little bit of blue sticking out, which is okay because we can just hide it later in post shaping. But let's just take a look at what we got so far. I mean, in origami, swivel fold is a pretty vague term. It's kind of like the difference between a squash and a spread squash. It's like squash can technically encompass all spread squashes, but not all spread squashes are like sometimes when it's a spread squash, it could just be a regular squash. It kind of just depends how you go about it. All right, so here we are, and I kind of want to make the sword a little bit different. However, it will add, I don't know, I don't want it to, let me think. It might turn into a scimitar style. But what do you guys say? Should we try risking it? Risking it for the sake of the shaping. I do really like the normal shaping because it fits very well. And I guess it's a thin blade. Maybe I shouldn't. Because I'm thinking of stretching this layer out and then making a blade. But it's going to make this seam go through the middle. So maybe we shouldn't do that. My designs are amazing for mush. Hello, hello, Susan. Hello. Greetings. Okay, well, this might be able to be undone. So let's just see. Maybe I'm thinking too much. But let's just see what this looks like for a second. And we gotta be careful here. No tearing allowed, right? Risk it for the biscuit. Okay. Gotta experiment a little bit. That's part of the fun of shaping. You don't always know what you're doing or where you're going all the time. There you go. So by doing this, we at least keep the top layer intact so that if we undo this, there shouldn't be any creases through it. In theory. So we also need to make it look like this part is connected to this part without it being too crazy. So that's more on the angle. But I feel like, so I'm thinking of just mountain folding like right here. And then we have this like big boy kind of shape going on. I don't know how, will that look good or will it not look good? That's the real question here. I'm trying to think. Gotta leave, got school, no worries. Study hard, study very hard, and have fun at school. Thanks for joining in while you can, and we'll see you next time. All right, so we're gonna try something, and this will fold through that other layer. But we're gonna try to see here. Right, so something like this. And then we want the rest of it to look a little bit sharper. So we have a point. So maybe we fold in this corner. Now, is that sword too big for like an assassin? I guess if anything, we just have a different seam here. That's not on the original design. But we could fold this corner into to thin it out. And then that would be like a regular size sword. Whale milk's good. Beats ostrich milk. That's not good at all. That doesn't sound good. Interesting. School sucks, just graduated a month ago. Hey, well, congrats for graduating. I graduated about a month ago, or 2 months ago, too. I take your crease pattern class course. Sorry, your crease pattern course. Very helpful and the best out there. Thank you. Yeah, this is kind of looking like a Buster sword a little bit. So let's try doing something like this. And we'll keep everything parallel so it looks intentional. And I guess what we'll be left with is relatively the same size sword. There's just a slightly different shape. Very slight. Not a lot of difference. But there you go. You gotta try it. You gotta risk it for the biscuit. And sometimes if it doesn't work out, you have your escape plan, you know. Your undo, that's not really an undo, but you're just going with the flow. Can you color change the color of the upper sword? Like the handle. I might be able to color change the handle. I don't know if I want to though. 'Cause sometimes it doesn't always look the best. And it would be very mushy, so. Okay, well, we're gonna keep this shape for now. I think that's pretty okay. We'll make it just slightly thinner, and then we'll move forward. I think this is gonna work. Nice. Okay, that's gonna work. So we have our hilt here. And then we are going to just, so in the final, this fold I'm making probably won't stay very well, but I'm just mocking it in so we can kind of see what it would look like. Something like this. Now it looks pretty nice. I like to look at that. And boom. Okay, something I want to, maybe we won't do this yet. I was gonna try to close off the back by using this flap and doing that, but we're gonna wait because we might need this for later. But at least for now, we can have the sword kind of ready to go for us. So we're gonna just glue the handle in place for now, and leave that for the rest of the shaping. And that way I can kind of demonstrate the technique I'm gonna use, which is nothing fancy. We're using the end of like a plastic brush because I don't know where my normal paintbrush went. So this is our alternative. But I don't think we have to do much for the entire sword yet. But we're just going to get this handle in place. That way it doesn't keep flopping out on us as we go on. And basically what I can do is just stick it right there and use a little clamp. And we want it to clamp perpendicular, kind of like that. And then we'll be careful not to clamp it too long so it doesn't start having the clamp marks in there. But that'll just be out of the way for us a little bit. Maybe I should do the spreads or the squashes on this foot too, and then we can kind of start looking at what we want to do here. Hey boys, I think you should bring the belt flap up front. All right, let's see. Actually, I'll have a question for you. Boys, crease pattern classes are the best. Take my word for it, it's really good. Yeah, the best. There you go. Thank you, man. Thanks for the plug. And yeah, guys, there you go. That's the testimonial there for the crease pattern class if you would like to take that. And the belt flaps are these ones, I believe. Right here. And then the smaller ones, let me... Hold on, we got an emergency thing going on, which actually I'll announce in a little bit. There is okay, small plug if you guys don't make it to the end of the stream, but there's an opportunity to learn to fold this octopus, which I'm teaching on Saturday, but I'll talk about that later. Right now we're folding the assassin. So those smaller ones are for like the back of the belt. That's pretty cool. Okay. Okay, got it. Hey, let's go, Alex. Wow. Lots of level shifters there. Amazing. Good to hear, good to hear. Okay, so designer recommends to bring the belt to the front for now. And I think we've clamped that enough, so now that's going to stay for a little bit. So here we have the belt flaps. And as you can see, we have a little bit of the colors leaking out the side. So what I'm going to do is shift this a little bit so that it's technically less precise, but hopefully it'll cover up the color change that we don't want, like the little bits that are creeping out. There you go. Now we have a belt. Smaller ones are extension of the belt flap. Gotcha. I see. Okay. So if you guys are wondering how to make your folds look a little bit cleaner, you know, you can only fold so precisely that eventually your paper will start to work against you, right? Because of the thickness. Is one way is to hide unnecessary layers, kind of what I'm doing. In this case, I'm actually making some of the bottom layers show up, but it's hiding the unnecessary blue on top so that we preserve some of the cleanliness. And did I flip these upside down? Maybe they're supposed to go this way. No, I think, well, reach is easier this way, and then we can have a cool little thing in the middle, like this. And then the rest of it can kind of, the rest of the body will start to, sorry, I'm out of frame. Will start to be like that, but we're gonna go slowly. So let's undo these clips a little bit for now. This will sit on top of this area. And then we have a cool detail on the top there that we'll get to. Okay, so we have these smaller flaps, and this is going to be the outside of the belt. So that means we need to, yeah, so kind of like this. And I'm guessing what's going to happen is to make sure the sword is intact and doesn't get squished in. So we're going to fold around here. Okay, so I think I have the general idea. Let's finish up these, and then I'll get those belt flaps down, because I think we can just do that without interrupting much other factors. And then once we have that down, then we can start to do more with the body. Hello. Thanks for joining the stream. Okay, maybe we don't spread squash this one. That shouldn't be seen anyways. And then here's our smaller mush portion. That is a little bit different than the original design, but I'm gonna play around with it for some of the leg shaping. When you mush, at least you want to try to mush cleanly, if those two words make sense together. But yeah, okay, there you go. And now that we have this, we can actually fold this flap backwards, and then that might give us a little bit more space for the belt. And hopefully I am still in frame. Okay. We're good so far. All right. So there we have the legs, and then let's get this belt around. And I guess I'm trying to see how low the belt should be. And the belt should be right where the sword lies. Right around here. I guess it's okay if we're on the half grid mark. Something like this. Like that. Cool. All right, so let's just do it. We'll glue these down for now. And we'll use that as our base layer for shaping. A lot of times I spend too much time thinking and just moving around the paper flaps. Sometimes you just gotta make a decision and go for it. Let's see, did I have a good 4th of July? I did, thank you. Did you have a good 4th of July? Did you see any fireworks? Or hopefully if you're in a fireworks safe area, there's some people celebrating. Should be pretty fun. Oh, that's unfortunate. I see. I guess that's kind of eventful, but yikes, man. Rough. Okay, so we're going to try to have this right in the middle, and then these parts be even. There we go. Just like that. You know what I probably should have done? I probably should not have gridded through this area. That'd be a little bit cleaner, but I think it's okay. And the photos will hide it a little bit so that it's not as noticeable. Okay, so we're going to want to be careful with that as it kind of dries. But we have our starting point. And then we have our legs. So now kind of the thought process here is we already know one arm is going to be folded down for hanging onto the hilt. Then we have the other hand. Now, I'm wondering if we should try to get this guy in like an aerial pose. So he's like about to draw. Actually, maybe that doesn't make sense. If he's about to draw his sword, he's probably not going to draw it midair. Let's see. If I was to attack someone, maybe I'd be like sneaking up on them. So my hand's like maybe about to grab them, and then like draw the sword with reverse grip, slash, right? Or like an overhead jab, something like that. So we could have this hand outstretched a little bit, kind of in like a grabbing position. And what would be cool is later on we'll actually have a model that we can have there that he's like about to just assassinate. So maybe we'll do that for the photo. I'll have to think about that. So I think we'll do there. And then as for the feet, maybe we want like a crouching pose, like he's walking, or like a dash forward or something like that. But we don't want to hide too much of the body. So basically what I'm going to be doing is looking up, while this dries, looking up some assassin poses, which is probably going to give me like Assassin's Creed poses to try to observe, try to go for. Something that fits our kind of vibe. So let's see here. Obviously, a lot of them are crouched. So I think we're going to do something that's crouched. Some are jumping. Jumping could be cool. There's some poses that just don't make sense. Jumping. Crouched. It's like a stealth walk, kind of a crouch. There's some funny ninja ones. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like there's one that's pretty cool where the person is fully hunched over, but I don't want to fully hunch them over. But I'll try to show with what I have how it kind of looks. If I can find it again. I do also like the kneeling pose of the original one, but I think we're going to try and go for... So the jumping one, this might not work to show. Basically has the legs up and tucked like this. And then the body is forward. And then the sword's being grabbed. And so... basically these would be down, and actually we can probably use these guys to help us with the depth of like where the leg is in its position. The other one, it's more of a crouched, so same kind of deal here. Sorry, I might have been out of frame. Try not to let the glue slip out. All right, so we're in more of a wide stance. And it's like hunched over. And then he's like prowling. We can even have one hand like on the, reaching for the floor. And then the other ready to grab the sword, right? However, that might... I guess if we're touching the floor, that might be too low for where the chest area is covered up too much. So the key features is this blade, and then the robe, obviously. Maybe something from Attack on Titan would fit the model. Oh, yeah, maybe. Let's see. Let's look at that. Let's look at some of the scout regiments. maybe we'll just look at Captain Levi. See what poses he's got. Although they draw from their hip, which is a little bit different than drawing from the back. But that would be some really good air poses, because man, they got some cool... They slash around the back. So it'd be like tilt this way, where the legs are facing that way, and then he's looking over the shoulder, and then going for like a back draw. Or I guess it'd be this way, where he's going for the backslash, and then his arm is leading him into the spin. Potential. But basically, because we're so ambivalent about what we want to do, the solution here is actually, you know what? The spread squash gives me some more space. Let's do this one really quick. But we might just use some wire to shape in the legs, and then we can just pose them however we would like, just the model. And I don't always shape with using wire and limbs, but oftentimes it's kind of nice to be able to like move the model around and have it stay, where you can kind of work off of it instead of just like imagining the whole thing and then working bit by bit to eventually get that pose complete, which you might not know what it looks like in the end. And I'm wondering if I should pull these, you know, let's do this. Let's pull out these spread, at least the bottom one here. Or we'll do both of these. Why not? Get that cool diamond kind of thing going here, which almost messed up. There you go. Something like that. And then same thing on this side. And this is just a texture thing, but I have an idea for, by doing this, which if you guys have already seen the Dragon Knight tutorial, you might have an idea where I'm going with this here, or a small detail that will add into the shin, basically. Okay, but I'm pretty sure I can use these. So as you can see, basically what this did is it allows me to pull this open just a little bit, because this will kind of be covered in the robe. Good luck with shaping. You gotta leave now. Sorry I couldn't stay. No worries, man. Thank you for designing this. And then I don't know if I'm gonna finish it today, but hopefully when I do finish it, you know, obviously I'll tag you, and I'm excited. I'll be excited for you to see it. And if we don't finish it this time, maybe we'll finish it in the next stream. Or I might just get too excited and finish it off stream. But yeah, we're going to add in some wires. So yeah, but thanks for joining in, man. Guys, if you haven't followed him on Instagram yet, definitely do that. And I think I tagged him in my story, but yeah, if you don't know his Instagram yet, I'll have him tagged somewhere when I post this. Okay. So let's see if this is long enough. Some armored details coming soon. Yes, yes. So let's get these going with the legs. And then we might take a look at the arms. And then we'll get those details in once once the wires are in. And my wire cutter is not cutting the wire. There you go. All right. I guess the other thing that this does is it helps give the limbs a little bit of rigidity, since these are really thin. Over time, right, if you have it standing, it's going to slowly, like, you'll lose your folds. So at least this way it gives a little bit of structural support. And the thing you have to be careful about with wire is you don't want it to show through. So if you don't care about the back side, you can use the back layer. But otherwise, I like to try to put in the middle, so that when it dries, you don't see like the indent of the wire. Even though it's pretty thin, it'll be noticeable through the paper, but you won't see it through the rest. So we're just going to do that here. And I'm going to put the wire pretty high because I don't want it in the foot area. And then just use a little bit of glue. Lock that guy up a bit. And it'll also help us manage some of our internal layers a little bit as well. But yeah, basically, kind of a fun detail that right here, right? So this will become our shin, is we can just valley fold this part. Very slightly. Let me be careful with this. And you get like an extra angle just right along the shin. And what this does, it helps hide some of the grid lines by attracting your eye to like this open flap a little bit more. And since I folded the grid probably too tightly, some of these will help us out a little bit. Very simple, right? But I don't know, maybe even on camera you can kind of see like that's already looking like a shin guard. A little bit. But that's the idea there. Let's get this other wire in. This. Might as well. We'll add a little bit of glue to some of these other layers. And this is less so to like glue the layers together, but more just to add strength on the inside of all these layers. It'll make it a little bit more workable since our paper is pretty soft. Like, I'm sure you can hear it. It sounds pretty crispy, which is really great for the collapse. But now that we're shaping it, we want it to be a little bit thicker. Azndumplin says, I want pizza. And I did this on the wrong side, so. Actually, this is probably good enough. I don't think pizza is, oh, maybe not. So I put this on the wrong layer. Let's quickly save that. It's a good thing we checked. I forgot that that was the top layer. Put in the one below. It's an awesome model by Vishwa. And boys, you're an awesome teacher. Thank you. Thank you. It indeed is very cool. It's a very awesome design by Vishwa. He's become such a great designer in such a short time. He's really been learning and practicing quickly and accepting criticisms and learning and improving his designs one by one. They're really cool. Really, really cool. Very talented. I want pizza. You can have pizza. Let's see. All right, and then we're gonna add the same details to this side. Now, when I do this, I want to be a little careful to, I want to match the other leg I did, but since I didn't have any reference points, it's kind of just an eyeball game. But since we're posing our assassin more dynamically, it's okay if it's not perfect. Because both legs will be doing something different, so as long as it's about the same, it'll look pretty good. All right, and we're gonna use a clip here where it's drying to keep it in place for a bit. That way it can dry strong, not poke through the paper on accident, since we got a little bit wet right there. And then maybe we can start on the top here. Now, Vishwa did a really cool detail, which I'm going to keep the same a bit. And that's just a slight detail on the row. Let's see exactly how he did this. It's basically just a couple folds here. It's the valley fold and then a valley fold, I believe. But let's see. Yeah, it's a valley fold on each side. So it's like here and then here. And it kind of makes like a shirt collar almost, or the robe collar. However, let's try to make it as clean as we can. So we don't want this layer to spread when we do it. So we're also going to be using a little bit of glue, like that, just to close it. And we don't want it to stick to anything. We gotta be careful a little bit. And that'll help us prep for folding it down. Just like that. And then I guess we'll wait on this side to see how it works after that one's dry. So we're slowly making some progress here, which is great. It's good stuff. Not spending too long. Okay, now let's kind of figure out the arms. And actually, before I do that, I'm not going to fold in the neck, but I'm going to put the creases in for the neck a little bit. And that's just going to help us look at the proportions a little bit more to see where I should put the shoulders. And I'm going to use the strangulation method a little bit for this neck. But we're going to start softly. And basically, it's just to thin the neck out a lot is the goal. I'm going to start with just valley folds, like that. And then here's our joint. And then, oh, I'm out of frame. Basically, we're making this shape on both sides. And then mountain folding along the middle line. And normally this will affect the tops and bottoms of this minimally, so that we don't get any creases through them, but we get the middle area thin. Like that. And then the reason why I do it this way is so that when it's dark like that and we had the face over the top, it gives a little bit of depth and it makes it look thin, even if it's not entirely thinned out. You can also do it the other way around and that looks okay too, but this makes it look a little bit more thin. Looks great. Do you think it's better to fold it wet or dry when shaping? So I do a little bit of both. So as you can see right now, like this part is dry, this part is wet. So we can actually take these off now. And it kind of depends. This model is actually there's not many thick areas. So I would say you want to fold it when it's wet if it's thick. So I don't know if there's anything with like a really thick leg, then when you're, I guess, applying glue to some of the layers, like once that dries super solid, it's gonna be really solid. But if you can get it when it's half dry and still a little bit wet, it'll be easier to move. And then when you let it dry in like the pose you want it to, then it'll stay. So in that scenario, it's a little bit better when it's wet. As for me, I'm not like doing final shaping yet, so it's okay when it's dry here, just to kind of visualize what's going on. Because otherwise, if it's wet right now, whatever I do it's gonna be final, right? But great question. At least that's my preference. It might be different among some other people, but I tend to fold a little bit slower, so I do all these kind of steps to go about that. I wanted to add a nose here, but I don't think I'm gonna have space to add a nose, which is okay. That's fine. But we'll worry about the face shape later. That will come more last. But we're already starting to see a little bit of the progress. I'll hold it up to this camera so you guys can kind of see a little bit. I don't know if you can tell yet, but we're making slow progress. All right, so I don't want to fully crease this part yet, but these will go in to kind of thin out the body and then become the chest. So we're going to worry about that a little bit slower. But the arms come, I believe they come on top like this. So let me double check this. Kind of interesting because it looks like the arms, like the level shifted part should be over the side a bit more. So it feels like I have these backwards almost, so. Let's kind of figure this out, in case I do have it backwards. I believe I folded it correctly, but maybe it is a way to kind of unwrap this and get it to be on the other layer. I don't think so. Okay, so I might be doing this a little bit incorrectly, but I think in theory this will come over, right? This is kind of like a sleeve, and then we have our arm here. That's going to be grabbing our sword in the back. Kind of like that. And there's our thumb, basically. So I think that's okay here. Again, the thing we want to avoid is like this blue strip right here. We don't want that to show at all. So before I go about anything, we're going to try to guarantee that this flap is going to be on top of the others. And it's going to involve some glue, as always. So since we're going to have the glue, what we're going to do first is actually get a wire in the arm. Because it's kind of the same thing. I want to spot out the arm. and then manipulate it so that it fits our pose. And so to get it a little bit more natural, I'm going to use a wire. And before, I used to be very opposed to myself using wire because I didn't like the idea of using it. However, over time, after I've watched a lot of videos of people like clay sculptors and whatnot, and how they use wire for the internal structure and how it really helps them pose out their model before they're ever done creating it, I was like, it's a pretty good idea. So we'll try using it. There's no shame in using just a little bit of wire. And I think the results were pretty well. Hello. Thanks for joining the stream. If paper drift happens, do you think it can be fixed? Well, I'll kind of show now how I'm preventing it. But if you glue already with the paper drift, what you can probably do is, if the layer below it isn't showing much, you can just fold the paper drifted part. Like, you can mountain fold it and try to hide it behind whatever layer it's on. So I'll try to show an example if I have it. If I had my Rapunzel model on me, I would be able to show it really well, but I think we have another example that we can use. And I forgot to take out the wire before I added the glue. I like using wire of my origami too. Yeah, I think it's a great tool. We might have to do that. The thing to avoid paper drift I was talking about with this one, just because the layers are all together, it kind of makes it weird. Just cut out the layers a little. Is that white? Sorry, is that white glue? Yes. Just regular white glue, very cheap. Okay, so for example, for like this model, which is very bright, to make it white, like right here, normally there's some paper drift in the back showing. As you can see in the back, I just like folded it, like this to get it out of the way. Same thing on the other side. That way, when you look at it from the front, you can't see the paper drift as much, at least. So that's the way to kind of fix it. It's a little bit messy, not ideal. You kind of want to deal with it before you ever shape it, but sometimes you can't avoid it, and then that's something you can do there. So here we're gonna try to avoid it. There's a lot going on here though, so we might not be able to, but I'm trying to shift as much of the creases just very gently as possible to cover it. And it's gonna kind of go off the grid just slightly. I think that's okay. And then I'm basically just this top layer, I'm gonna glue that in place where I did some of those stretches to hopefully not let the paper drift. And we'll see if we did enough, basically. I like to water down my glue a little before shaping. Ah, yes, that is a good way to do it. It'll help your glue to dry a little bit slower, which will help you shape a little bit longer. Mine is actually, so it's a school glue, so it's already water soluble, which means it's not as strong as like a regular white glue in general. So for me, I don't have to water this one down, but with like a regular white glue, yeah, that's probably a good move there. There you go. And then this other layer that I think might drift, I'm also just going to glue down very lightly. And then I think we'll be good. See, if I hold it from this angle, you can kind of see that the blue isn't showing past the black, whereas on the left side, you can see how it's drifted just from collapsing all the layers down. Which we'll fix when we get to that side. We're just going to try this layer for now. So with that, I'm going to just clamp it a little bit, like right here, and let that dry just a bit before we work on it too much, so we don't get too many wrinkles on the paper while it's wet. And then in the meantime, we can start doing the legs a little bit since we installed the wires on these. All right. Hey boys, I collapsed your Samurai V3 from 60 centimeter paper, but it was too small, so I made a 75 centimeter sheet of red double tissue. What glue should I use? Yeah, white glue is fine. I shaped Samurai with white glue before. Or if you have methyl cellulose that you made the double tissue with, then that works too. Just be careful. With the Samurai, I don't know if you guys can tell. I'm being very careful with how much glue I add, because it's much better to underglue at first than to overglue, because you can't really go back. So just be careful. But yeah, 75 centimeters should be good. Normally I make the Samurais from 65 centimeters. Hello, bro. I'm from India. Welcome. I think there's some more people from India here as well. So thank you for joining the stream. Thank you. All right, so we're going to try to mock out our hips region a little bit for this crouched pose. So I guess we can't do the hips too much because the wire doesn't run all the way up there, but we can get a glimpse of what it could be like. Since we put the wire in here, I didn't do quite a good job on the right side, so you can see how there's that little bit of wire that you can see showing. But thankfully that will get covered up by these. Right, but we want it to be in like a crouched walk pose. Obviously these legs are going to thin out as well. They're not going to be this blocky. So right now the legs might look really short, but we're going to make them a lot thinner. I'm from India too. Hey, yeah, look at that. I think we have quite a few people from India. It's morning there, so it's a decent time zone for you guys. I have a doubt, is methyl cellulose and same? I need them for making methyl cellulose and carboxylate methyl cellulose are pretty much the same. I believe just one is edible and one's not edible. I think both are technically edible, but yeah, no, they should be the same. If anything, you can try either one, and it should be all right. All right, with the belt, I'm actually going to add just a little bit of white glue to keep these ones from drifting. Can we use both? Like at the same time? I think so. Just mix it a little bit with water and it should be all right. You'll need to experiment a little bit on your first tries, but once you get the ratio down, you'll start to understand how much to use, and it should be okay. For preparation of double tissue. Yes, yes. You can use it. All right, so hopefully you guys can kind of see the vision here, right? Okay, now let's figure out these guys a little bit, which I think Vishwa just spread the layers. Yeah, and then use them to shape in the bottom part of the robe. So these are middle flaps, so it shouldn't be too hard to stretch them out. It's just more of where did you stretch them. So let's try flipping the orientation like this. And we're looking to get the widest set of flaps we can, which I think this works without making the rest of the model too frustrated at this. And then from here, we just pull out some layers. Now, do I want to do the top one or the bottom one? I think we can do the top one. So let's see how far this will actually stretch. Gotta go back to work. Thank you for your time. No problem. Thanks for joining in. Thank you. And best wishes at work. I'm from Oklahoma. Nice. It is a late night work for you, or it's school work, I guess. That might count too. There you go. We do like them stretching the layers techniques for shaping. You can do quite a lot of, you can make a lot of different shapes with it. There you go. And then the goal of this is to curve kind of in a concave manner. You guys can kind of see. And this will become the eventual bottom part of the robe. By the way, why do you use white glue? Actually, let me share a fact with you. So what generally isn't allowed is if I took another paper and glued it to the origami and then call this a sword, right? That's not allowed. However, shaping with glue is allowed because Satoshi Kamiya said it's okay. So if it's okay for Satoshi Kamiya, it's okay with me. And it's basically, like, you can think about it, part of the paper creation process uses glue, right? It binds the fibers together. Not all of them like use glue, but any kind of adhesive is a kind of glue. So we're really just re-strengthening the paper and then sculpting it after we fold to hold a shape, right? So it's not the same as like a paper mache where you're taking a bunch of paper and just shaping it with glue, but in a way we're sculpting the paper a little bit and just using the properties of the interaction between glue and paper, where paper gets stronger to achieve form. But if anyone asks you, is glue okay? You can tell them that Satoshi Kamiya said it's okay. And yeah, if they disagree with Satoshi Kamiya, then they can disagree with Satoshi Kamiya. But yeah. It's a you know, everyone has their own preferences. So not everyone wants to use glue. Some people like glue. And all of it's okay, you know. Origami is for everyone to try, and you know, there's things that aren't origami that are other things, but yeah, glue's okay. No worries there. Generally though, glue is allowing me to fold a bit faster because it dries. You can pretty much achieve the same form without glue by, you know, holding the paper in the same spot for a long enough time. And there's an artist, Michael Veliquette, he told me, and I really like this, that paper has memory. And that's very true, right? Creases are memory. So if you hold paper long enough, it will have memory and it'll stay there. However, you could be holding that paper there for like a week, and I don't have time for that. So you can either do that or you can use glue, and it's the same effect. So I don't, you know, there's not too much difference there. You should save your time and then you can study instead of holding your paper in place. But yeah, that's a little answer. It's kind of funny, but yeah. So that's kind of the reason why. Yeah, no, I used to not use glue either, and then I realized that most origami folders that are folding really complex models will use glue just because the paper alone is not strong enough at times to hold form, or they want to achieve a different shape or make a more interesting shape. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like that idea. So now I use glue. Basically for memory. Yeah, that's a good way to put it, for memory. It's all still one piece of paper, right? I guess the more controversial thing I'm doing is using wire with the paper, you know. However, again, Satoshi Kamiya put some wire in the Ryujin to give it strength and memory. So same concept a little bit. And it's just to support it, because otherwise over time it would fall down. And if you spend that much time, you know, working on something like that, you don't want it to fall over. You want it to last a long time, so you can show more people how cool it is. Now, if it is tissue foil, then glue won't be used because foil keeps it safe. Yeah, normally. Although you can use glue to help protect the foil as well, because sometimes the foil isn't strong enough. So I'll show you an example. So here, I didn't have to use much glue. There's very, 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 very little. The only spots is right here and right here. And the difference it made is the head would have been up here versus down here. And that's all because of gravity. Because the foil can't hold all of this at once. Or maybe not gravity. One of Newton's laws where, you know, force acting on something has an equal and opposite force reacting upon it. So since there's a lot of stress in these areas, the foil's not strong enough to naturally hold this curve. And so just a little bit of glue strengthens it. But for the rest of it, you know, like the legs and the arms, no glue, right? Doesn't need it. It just holds in place. I think Choiseul also used wires in his models to maintain posture. Yeah, that makes sense. I think humanoids are very complex as well, right? With their because we have muscles and bones. Without our muscles and bones, we wouldn't be able to, you know, do poses, or, you know, we're pulling against gravity anytime we're stretching our arm out. You know, it doesn't just go like that. So because we have muscles, right? Normally, even with the origami, gravity still affects the paper. So it's good to use wire. So yeah, I can totally see why Choiseul would also use some wire. What is that model? That is my Great Swordsman, which you can learn at the Origami World Marathon, which you can register for on origami-shop.com. OrigamiShop.com. It is a online origami event coming soon in August. I think. Actually, in India, there are very few people who perform origami, so I have not as much guidance, but I think this is my passion. Yeah, there's a growing number of people from India, I think in the past 2 years. So, I encourage you to reach out to some of the other people from India here, just like Vishwa, who's from India, I think, who designed this model. So I think there's also like an India origami group chat somewhere, or a group, either on Instagram or Discord. So, start to connect with those people, talk with them, and you can learn a whole bunch. You can find out where they get paper, everything. And I think that'll help you out a lot. Can you tell me how often I don't take class. I guess I don't really take classes. I teach classes nowadays. If I take classes, it's like for fun or because my friend is teaching. But I learned origami on my own, and then I discovered the origami conventions. But by that time, it was more of, I wasn't really learning from them, but I was more just talking with other folders. And that, again, you probably learn more from just talking with people than from actually folding from a class. But yeah, I have a lot of videos on my YouTube channel, so you can also learn on YouTube. There's plenty of materials there to go around. Okay, but back to this model. I think you guys can kind of see the concept here. I don't really want to glue anything yet, but I guess we can glue like this portion. And then we'll have more things set over time. How to participate. There's instructions on Origami Shop. So at least for this one. Let me see if I can get the link for you. So you might have to translate it. But there's a lot of information. Here. And so you'll see my model there. And if you attend, there's recordings as well, so that in case you are asleep during the class, you can have the tutorial for later. This specific convention is quite interesting because it's a marathon that goes 48 hours straight. So, and there will be a class every hour for 48 hours. So you won't be awake for all of them. So the ones that you miss, you can have the recording, or the ones that you attend, if you need, maybe if it's too fast or you need some extra time or you want to fold it again, then you can go there. It's a little bit expensive, but a plane ticket is more expensive, right? So there's some time. So definitely, if you want to save up, highly recommend that. Because basically you get 48 tutorials for that price, which is a very good deal, I think. How much does it cost? Oh yeah, it's 48 euros. So €1 an hour, or €1 a class, which is again very worth it. Very, very worth it. Yeah, no problem. No problem. But yeah, kind of like my point. From talking with me, you found out this information about this event. So, continue to talk to more people, and over time you'll learn a whole bunch of origami skills, which is great. Just by talking, which is pretty cool. All right, so I'm only going to stream for 20 more minutes. So 9 p.m. my time is when the stream will end. But I think we made some good progress here. The no pose is finally set. I normally like to spend, more than 5 hours shaping to really get a solid pose. So if you've seen like my Instagram stuff, they take a long time, and I like to spend a lot of time on them so I can think about how to do it. But regardless, I think we have a pretty good direction, right? We have more of a knife now. And then we have kind of the legs figured out, kind of. And then we're going to work on the arms, but from here we can kind of see right. I think we can try this one a little bit. That's like where an arm will be eventually. It kind of goes around like that. Till yesterday, I was making intermediate models like Joe Nakashima. Last night, I ordered tissue papers and craft paper for complex models for the first time. Awesome! I think you're going to like that a lot. Getting used to sourcing better papers for complex models is actually part of increasing your origami skill. So great job. And I am excited for you. It's always fun to have new papers to try out. And I think you'll have a lot of fun. All right, so maybe if I hold this way, you guys can kind of see where this is going. We're gonna have to figure out how to bend the torso a little bit without just mushing it. But I think what we can do now, before we go, is finish up this other arm. That way we can kind of pose it with the other one. So the first thing is to fix the drift. And as you'll notice that since we did the other side, now I have a direction, so it'll be a little bit faster when I do it on this side. We got our wire here. We want to make sure it's right length. Which one did I put it in? I think I put it in here. Is that right? Yeah, because that's the top. Thank you. No problem. All right, so we do the wire first. Wipe off my hand so I don't get glue. Can you give me the link for craft paper? Yeah, let me drop that really quick. Actually, so I think I have it linked here. So if you type in, I actually wrote a blog about paper. I think this will work. But you can read all about different papers, and there's links for them. And I think craft is included there. So that'll give the link to craft paper for you. What is your favorite design to fold from Joe Nakashima and Tadashi Mori? You know, I gotta fold some more Joe Nakashima. I haven't folded from him in a long time, but I love his models because I started out with a lot of them. Like I've done a couple of his dragons. Tadashi Mori, that's an easy one, which I'm going to fold another one of these again soon. And maybe I'll stream it. This is a modification, but I think if I just hold it this way, you guys know what this is, right? And then this is the same, but it's just a modification. I think this is a lot of people's favorite Tadashi Mori model. So I think I folded that model maybe 4 or 5 times. It's a really good one. Oh wait, was I sorry guys, I was out of frame. I thought I was in frame. Hold on. Let me show that one more time. I didn't switch my camera. I thought I switched my camera. I won't show the modified one, but I'll show this one. Maybe it was barely in. This is really cool. I need to make another one. Maybe I'll give it away at a convention sometime too. Okay. Sorry about that. There you go. Now we're back. Alright. So now we just need to make sure we fix the drift. Seems about right. I think the Origami WhatsApp logo. Is that by Joe Nakashima? Or did he just have a tutorial for that one? I think so I know there's one by Carlson Chu, which is the one that's behind me. I don't know if you can see that. But there is a WhatsApp logo. That one's Carlson Chu. I can't remember if Joe Nakashima has one as well, but maybe. But yeah, I need to fold some more Joe Nakashima stuff. There's some of his designs that I wanted to fold in the past, but they were too hard for me. And then since I've been able to now, I just haven't folded them. But it's probably fun, so. Like, I kind of want to make that bookmark, the dragon bookmark, so that when I fold origami diagrams, I have a bookmark. I seen somewhere in the, yeah, that's right, in International Olympiad, Origami Internet Olympiad, I think, something like that. That's where that one's from. Yes, that one. I participated in that one partly. I didn't finish all the way, but it was fun. It's very fun. I ran out of time because of school. That's why I couldn't finish that. Which is very sad, because I wanted to, and I think I would have placed pretty well. But I placed okay. But I didn't finish, sadly. She folded this Rubik's Cube. I turned it into dice. Oh, that might be pretty fun. That seems relaxing too, except for maybe putting it together. Okay, so we just need this arm to dry. So at the very end, we will do that. And then here, let's just try to get the foot for now. So a lot of times with the foot, we can start. How big is here? So I think our foots will be right at this joint here. And then You can start by trying to create an ankle. We're going to do some 3D shaping here, and then use that valley fold as a crimp. Like this, and then that gives us some space to pinch the corners. And then we start to get a foot. We also don't want that paper to drift, so we're also just gonna make it stay in place. Hello, Samuel. Welcome to the stream. Thank you for watching. Hello, hello. What was the dimension of the paper which you made the samurai? 60 centimeters or 65 centimeters. I've done some from smaller, but the average is 60 to 65 centimeters. Ever fold any of Jeremy Schaefer's models? I've certainly folded them. I don't exactly remember which ones. But they're from diagrams, not from his YouTube channel. But I've gotten to meet Jeremy a couple times and talk with him. It's pretty fun. Can I make it with 50? Or I would try 60. 60 will work. So this one was 60. Or it was like 62. 62 centimeters. Because I didn't cut the square enough to be 65 centimeters. So it's about 62. And it'll be about this big. Yeah, Jeremy Schaefer is really cool. I want to maybe collab with him one day. We'll see. We'll keep grinding YouTube, and maybe one day that'll happen. Should be really fun. Or maybe at the next in-person origami convention, I believe he will be a special guest. Or I think, or he might be there. Maybe we'll try to get an interview with him on our channel. That'd be pretty fun. We'll have to plan that out. Have you ever used log paper? I have not. It's very similar to crumpled paper, though, which I've used. Which it's pretty good for intermediate level origami, and it's got a really cool texture. But I wouldn't say it's the best for or I wouldn't say it's good for box pleat, but you can definitely use it really well for some cool animals. I do have some Vietnamese paper, though, that's called Za. It's a little different. Is plotter paper with 80 GSM okay? It's going to be a little bit thick, so use glue to help yourself out. Because when it's wet, it'll be a little bit easier to shape, but just be careful when you fold the samurai. It might take a couple tries, so just be careful. But the very, very first samurai version 1, was folded with a 90 centimeter or close to 1 meter 100 GSM paper. So, you know. It didn't have fingers, though. No fingers. I think fingers would be hard with thicker paper, so just be careful with the fingers. Okay, sorry, I was out of frame for a little bit, but basically we made the legs. They're kind of looking like this. Right? I'm probably going to thin them a little bit more towards the knee, but we're just getting it started to be in its crouched position. And then we'll go from there. It's pretty cool because it's basically going to be an illusion where the legs actually aren't as long as they're going to seem to be. Hopefully. But we're going to shape them out from there. That should be pretty cool. I might need to shorten the torso just a little bit, but as long as we do that, I think the proportions will work out, which is very exciting. I've been using roll craft paper and it works well. Nice. Use a fold ancient dragon. Okay, if any paper that can be used to fold ancient dragon can fold my samurai. My samurai is not as hard as ancient dragon, I don't think. All right, so now I think this one is just about to dry. Which means there you go. So we have the two arms, which this one's creeping a little bit more than the other one, and that's from some of the layers underneath. So let's fix that quickly for fully finish. But we are about halfway done with shaping. Yep, we're just about done. 1 hour, 52 minutes. We're ending in 5 minutes. So if you guys got any final questions, go ask them now, and I'll just answer them for the next couple of minutes. But that is pretty much all the folding we have for today. I think pretty excited to see how this will turn out later. And I think it's going to be pretty cool. How many slices of pizza do I have? I have most of the pizza left. I only ate 2 pieces today. Will it be okay? I think so. I mean, you might have to try. There's a lot of factors that could go right or wrong, but you can definitely try. So yeah, let me know how that works. I think it'll be okay. But like I said, my recommendation is use glue when shaping, and be careful of the fingers. Maybe skip the fingers if it's too thick. But definitely you can give it a shot. Mark, where's the ancient dragon? Did you shape the belly pleats? Not yet. Good question. I am this far. So let me switch. So we're on the sync folds. Which ones are they? I think we did one. Oh, right here. So we did one set of these guys. We got more on like the other side. The belly pleats are here, which will later pop out, and then we'll do the Ryujin spine things on them to make them spiky, because that's at least what I've seen on Satoshi's or Kamiya-san's original fold of what he did. But we got a little ways to go. We got all the toes, at least this far. So decent progress. I think I can go pretty fast from here. It's just not too much going. And then once we get to the wings and the head, it's gonna be a little bit. But I mean, it's happening, right? Like the dragon shape is basically like this, like tail, head, wings, feet. You know. So we're getting there. Is double tissue the best origami paper? Hard to say what the best paper is, but you can go check out my website to see what I listed as the king and queens of origami paper. At least that's available to buy online. So regularly sourced paper. Double tissue is amazing for pretty much everything at its value. So because you can make very large sheets of double tissue for very cheap, it just requires some skill and some practice. It's pretty good, you know. You can fold box pleat, you can fold 22.5, you can do scales, you can do a whole bunch of stuff. So one of the best origami papers in terms of foldability and value. But like top tier boys, you're gonna want to check out my, drop it again because it's kind of fun to use these commands. Definitely you guys should use more of them. Check out the title for some more commands in next time stream, since we're gonna end pretty soon. But once that pops up, once the bot kicks that in, then we'll be good to go. Might fold one ancient dragon with the pleats, but I'll wait till you finish to ask for advice. Gotcha. Well, Mark, knowing your folds, it's going to be really spicy. So I'm excited to see how you shape out that ancient dragon. But yeah, I'll be like the 3 projects I folded last stream. So here's the progress on Invention of the Crane. Sorry, I had to hydrate. We're almost there. We just have some of the shaping. Like, a lot of the shaping's been done. And we just got to, like, put it together. You know what I mean? And then do the dress. Which the dress is a little bit tricky, but not as hard as, like, the face and the hair. Which, at least for the face, I have a nose. And that's all I'm going to go on that. Because I think any more will just ruin the look of it. But we should be finishing these relatively soon. I'm going to be working on them a lot off stream. And then I think maybe we'll wrap up the shaping or some more folding of the Ancient Dragon next time. But at least for streamable content, I think the Assassin is pretty fun because we can do more of the shaping since it's already done. And then Ancient Dragon will be pretty fun. I think the Invention of the Crane, I'll just be staring at it for way too long to really stream that. So we're just going to try to finish that fast, get it posted, and then it'll be my convention piece. I have like basically for the next convention coming up, my highlight pieces will be Invention of the Crane, Samurai version 3/4, and then the triplets, the 2-headed dragon, the dragon knight, and the dragon slayer. Those will be like the feature models. Should be pretty cool. The model is super cool yet quite simple. Looks great. Yeah, not too difficult. But yeah, for everyone's paper questions, feel free to read the resources. Specifically, if you click the paper resources in the methyl cellulose kit, you can check some of those out. The 3rd page, the miscellaneous page, you can check that out. I'm still working on it a little bit, but we have the display stands. So if you're curious about what display stands I use, which you see in my Instagram posts, that's where you can find out about the 2 different kinds of display stands that I like to use. Will 80 GSM be okay for other complex models like Rhinoceros? Honestly, 80 GSM, very good for Shuki Kato models. Because his models don't get very thick because of Tilted Grid and Shuki Kato Genius. So if there's something you want to do, it's just hard, but you can try some Shuki Kato models and they'll be really good. All right, so that kind of wraps up the stream. That's pretty much all I have for you guys. I only have one more announcement, which I gotta switch up my screens here, is if you guys are interested, and this might not be for everyone, but, oh, this is screen sharing the wrong screen. If you guys are interested, which I am going to put this in the chat. Oh, and then that's the name. Let me put this for Twitch as well. So if anyone has attended the conventions in the past, you can attend this for free. But check the times, check some of the information. But there is an event called Gather and Fold. You can learn a little bit about what Gather is from this video, and the link I posted. But it is a live event on GatherTown. Some of them have already passed. And there's no recording, sadly. But on Saturday, which is this day? Or this... Hold on, what's Saturday? The 10th. This one. This day, I am teaching a new model for the first time. And if you scroll down, here it is. So if you guys are interested, I think it's only $5 US. Make sure though, because this might not be in your time zone. But if that's something you're interested in, or if you want to become a member, or if you've attended in the past, you can send an email probably to the team and they'll get you the links so you can take this class. And if you want to know what that class is about, it is a new octopus based on my other octopus that I designed recently, and that's too bright. Yeah, so it's a simple model, or it's a simple looking model that's not the easiest to fold. So you're gonna have to be ready to do some closed sinks. But it's pretty cute, and you can fold it with small paper like I'm using here. And so with that, it should be very fun to do. It's got a nice little color change eye. Pretty simple. Once you get the hang of it, I think you can memorize it and fold it pretty easily, which is pretty fun to do or make if you want to, make something fast. Or not fast, but like just with regular paper. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for you guys. Thank you everyone for watching, and I will see you guys in the next stream. Also, look out for Origami Review Season 2 coming soon when I get to film that. But yeah, I will see you guys later.